Daeho opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt badly. Smoke filled the small escape pod around him. Red warning lights blinked on and off. He could hear strange sounds outside, like birds, but different. He pushed himself up from the pilot seat. His left arm felt sore, but nothing seemed broken. The research ship was gone. He remembered the engine exploding in bright flames. The captain had shouted for everyone to get to the escape pods. Now he was alone on some unknown planet. The pod door was stuck. Daeho kicked it 3 times before it opened with a loud crack. Fresh air rushed in. It smelled like flowers and wet earth. He stepped outside onto soft purple grass. Tall trees with silver leaves surrounded him. 2 suns hung in the pink sky above. This was definitely not Earth. His pod had crashed in a small clearing between massive tree trunks. Pieces of metal were scattered everywhere. Daeho walked around the wreckage. Most of his equipment was broken, but he found some useful things. A water filter that still worked, some food packets, a small toolkit. His research tablet was cracked but still turned on. He was checking the tablet when he heard a sound. Footsteps, but they were too quiet for a human. Too careful. Someone was watching him. Daeho looked around slowly. He saw nothing at first. Then a shadow moved behind a tree. Then another. He was not alone. "Hello?" he called out.
"I'm not here to hurt anyone."
My ship crashed. The shadow stopped moving. For a long moment, everything was quiet. Then they stepped out. They were women, but not human women. Their skin was light blue like the sky before dawn. Their hair was silver and long. They wore clothes that looked like leather, but it shined strangely in the sunlight. Each one carried a long spear with a curved blade. The tallest one stepped forward. She had scars on her arms and face. Her eyes were golden yellow. She pointed her spear at Daeho. "You are not from this world," she said. Her voice was deep and strong. She spoke his language, but with a strange accent. "No," Daeho said carefully. "I'm from Earth. My name is Daeho. I'm a scientist. My ship broke and I crashed here." The woman with scars looked at the others. They spoke in their own language. It sounded like music mixed with growling. Daeho could not understand any of it. A younger woman came forward. She had bright green eyes and no scars. She looked at Daeho like he was some interesting animal. "He looks different," she said in his language. "His skin is the wrong color, and his hair is black, not silver." "I can see that, Mira," the scarred woman said. "The question is what we do with him." Another woman joined them. This one was older, with white marks painted on her face. She carried a bag full of strange tools. "Let me look at him, Hayrin," she said. "I need to see if he is dangerous." The woman named Hayrin nodded. "Go ahead, So Young. But be careful." So Young walked around Daeho slowly. She held up a small device that made clicking sounds. Then she took out something that looked like a metal stick and pointed it at him. "Interesting," she said. "He has warm blood like us. His heart beats fast because he is scared. But his body is different inside." "Different how?" Hayrin asked. "He is male," So Young said quietly. All the women went silent. They stared at Daeho with wide eyes. Some of them took steps back. Others gripped their spears tighter. "That's impossible," Mira whispered. "There are no males left." "What do you mean?" Daeho asked. "Of course I'm male." "Is that bad?" Hayrin laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Bad? We have not seen a male in 50 years. We thought they were all gone forever." More women came out from behind the trees. Soon Daeho was surrounded by 20 of them. They all looked at him like he was magic. "What happened to your males?" Daeho asked. "They died," Hayrin said simply. "All of them. A long time ago." "I'm sorry," Daeho said. "That must have been very hard." "It was," said a new voice. An old woman walked into the clearing. She had white hair and wore robes instead of leather. "I am Yunji, elder of this tribe." "You say you are from another world?" "Yes," Daeho said. "From a planet called Earth. We have both males and females there." "Show us," Yunji said. Daeho picked up his cracked tablet. It still worked. He showed them pictures of Earth, cities with tall buildings, oceans with ships, men and women walking together. The women crowded around to see. They pointed at the pictures and talked excitedly in their language. "Your people," Yunji said. "They live together? Males and females?" "Yes," Daeho said. "We work together. We have families together." "Families." Mira repeated the word like it was foreign. "You can make new life?" So Young asked. "Together?" "Yes," Daeho said. "When a man and woman love each other, they can have children." The women looked at each other with strange expressions. Hope mixed with sadness. We have forgotten how to do that, Yunji said quietly. Our people are dying out. Soon there will be none of us left. Daeho felt sorry for them. He looked at their faces. These were warriors, but they looked tired, like they had been fighting a war they could not win. Maybe I can help, he said. Help how? Heirin asked. I don't know yet, Daeho admitted, but I'm a scientist. I study life and how it works. Maybe there's something I can do. Yunji studied his face for a long time. You would help people you just met? If I can, Daeho said. It's the right thing to do. He could be lying, one of the other women said. He could be, Yunji agreed. But he fixed that. She pointed at something behind Daeho. He turned around. While they were talking, he had been working with pieces from his pod. Without thinking about it, he had built a simple water cleaning system. Clean water was flowing out of a tube into a metal bowl. Your water had bad things in it, Daeho explained. This machine makes it safe to drink. Heirin walked over and looked at the device. You built this in minutes. From broken pieces. It's not hard if you know how, Daeho said. For us it would be impossible, So Young said with wonder. Yunji nodded slowly. You will come with us to our home. We will decide what to do with you there. Am I a prisoner? Daeho asked. That depends, Heirin said, on whether you really want to help us. Daeho looked around at all the faces watching him. These women had lost everything. Their world was ending. But they were still strong. Still fighting. I want to help, he said. Then you are our guest, Yunji said. Come, it is a long walk to our village. Daeho packed what he could carry from the pod. The women formed a circle around him as they walked into the forest. He did not know what waited for him in their village. But for the first time since the crash, he felt like he had a purpose again. The village was bigger than Daeho expected. Stone buildings with curved roofs filled a wide valley between two hills. Gardens grew between the houses. Children played in the streets, but they were all girls. Not one boy anywhere. How many people live here? Daeho asked. 127, Yunji said. That is all of us left in the world. The whole world? Daeho stopped walking. You mean your entire species? Yes, Heirin said. We are the last, Daeho felt sick. A whole people about to disappear forever. On Earth they had billions of humans. Here, barely more than 100. People came out of their houses to stare at him. Word traveled fast in a small village. By the time they reached the center, everyone was watching. Women of all ages lined the street. They whispered to each other and pointed. They have never seen a male before, Mira explained. The youngest of us is 40 years old. All the males died before she was born. What killed them? Daeho asked. War, Yunji said. A war that ended long ago, but its poison lasted. They stopped at a large building made of white stone. Carved symbols covered its walls. Inside, the ceiling was very high. Colored glass windows made pretty patterns with the sunlight. This is our meeting hall, Yunji said, where we make important decisions. Sit here. She pointed to a chair in the center of the room. Daeho sat down. The village women filed in and filled the benches around him. He felt like he was on trial. An old woman with a staff walked to the front. She had the most decorated robes of anyone there. I am Bora, keeper of knowledge, she said. Tell us about your people. Start from the beginning. Daeho talked for an hour. He explained about Earth and humans, about space travel and science, about how men and women lived together and had families. The women listened without interrupting. Show us your body, Bora said when he finished. What? Daeho's face turned red. Not everything, So Young said quickly. Just your arms. We need to see how different you are from us. Daeho rolled up his sleeves. The women gathered around to look. They touched his skin carefully like he might break. His muscles are different, So Young told the others. Stronger in some places, weaker in others. And look at his hands. They're bigger than ours, Mira said with wonder. And rougher. Different body for different work. Bora wrote notes on a tablet made of stone. What work do males do on your world? All kinds, Daeho said. Same as women. We're not that different, really. But you are different enough, Bora said. Different enough to make new life together. How does it work? Asked a young woman from the back. Making new life? Daeho's face got redder. Well, when two people love each other very much. No, Bora interrupted. I mean the science. How does the body process work? That was easier to explain. Daeho talked about genetics and DNA, about how traits passed from parents to children. The women asked many questions. They were very smart. We tried to copy ourselves, Bora said, making new people from pieces of old people. It never worked. Cloning is very hard, Daeho said. Even on Earth, we can barely do it. We tried mixing pieces from different women too, So Young added. Also failed. Without genetic diversity, it's almost impossible, Daeho explained. You need different DNA mixing together. Like male and female, Bora said thoughtfully. Yes. The room went quiet. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Daeho could see it in their faces. Finally, a woman near the front spoke up. Could he help us? Could we use his genetic material? I don't know, Bora said. He is not our species. It might not work, but it might. The woman pressed. It might. All eyes turned to Daeho. He felt very uncomfortable. I want to help you, he said carefully. But I'm just one person. Even if it worked, one man can't save a whole species. Why not? Mira asked. In our old stories, sometimes one great warrior would save everyone. This is different, Daeho said. It's about genetics and numbers. You need diversity. Many different fathers for healthy children. Are there more like you? Yunji asked. Other males from your world? Billions, Daeho said. But they're very far away. My ship is destroyed. I can't call them. Could you fix it? Heirin asked. The ship? Daeho thought about the escape pod. Maybe parts of it. But it would take time and materials I don't have. What materials? Bora asked. Rare metals. Computer parts. A new power source. Daeho shook his head. Things you probably don't have on this world. We might, Bora said. Our ancestors were great builders. They left behind many strange machines. Ancient technology. Daeho sat up straighter. Could I see it? Perhaps, Yunji said. But first we must decide what to do with you. Some of our people think we should keep you here. Use you to try making children. And others? Daeho asked. Others think we should help you contact your people. Bring more of them here. What do you think? Yunji was quiet for a long moment. I think both paths are dangerous. If we keep you here alone, we might fail anyway. If we bring your people here, they might change us too much. We could lose who we are. Your culture, Daeho said. You're worried about losing your way of life. Yes, we are warriors. We have our own traditions, our own beliefs. If thousands of your people come here, will we still be ourselves? It was a good question. Daeho had seen it happen on Earth. When different cultures met, sometimes the smaller one disappeared. I don't know, he said honestly. But if you don't try something, you'll disappear anyway. True, Yunji said sadly. A younger woman stood up. Why can't we do both? Keep him here and also try to contact his people? That could work, Bora said. If he stays, we can study him, learn about his biology. If we can also fix his ship, we send a message for help, Heirin finished. Bring some of his people here. Not too many at first. How many is not too many? Someone asked. A few dozen? Mira suggested. Mostly males to balance our numbers. And if they don't want to stay? Another woman asked. If they just want to take him home? Everyone looked at Daeho again. Would your people do that? Yunji asked. Daeho thought about it. Some might. Earth governments can be complicated, but there are others who would want to help. Scientists like me. People who care about saving life. How do we know which ones would come? Heirin asked. We choose carefully, Daeho said. Send the right message to the right people. Bora nodded slowly. It could work, but it will take time. Months, maybe years. And in the meantime? So Young asked. In the meantime, we learn from each other. Yunji decided. He teaches us about his science. We teach him about our ways. Maybe together we find answers. What if the other tribes disagree? Someone called out. What other tribes? Daeho asked. The mountain tribes, Heirin explained. There are 3 other groups like us. Smaller groups. We don't always agree on things. They might want to keep you for themselves, Mira said. Or they might think you're dangerous. We'll deal with that when it happens, Yunji said firmly. For now, Daeho is our guest. He will stay in the House of Learning with Bora. She will teach him our language and customs. And I'll teach her about human science, Daeho said. Good. Yunji stood up. It is decided. Tomorrow we start working together. Tonight we celebrate. It has been too long since we had hope for the future. The women cheered and started talking excitedly. As they filed out of the hall, many stopped to look at Daeho again. Some smiled. Others looked worried. All of them looked curious. Are you sure about this? Daeho asked Yunji. No, she said with a sad smile. But when you are dying, you try anything that might save you, even if it scares you. Daeho nodded. He was scared too, but also excited. For the first time since the crash, he felt like he might actually make a difference. 3 weeks had passed since Daeho arrived in the village. He now understood their language much better. Bora was a good teacher and he was a fast learner. More importantly, he was beginning to understand their culture. Today you face your first trial, Yunji announced during the morning meal. All members of our tribe must prove their worth through tests of skill. What kind of test? Daeho asked, though he was not surprised. He had seen other women going through these trials. That depends on who gives the test, Heirin said. Different skills for different people. Who will test me first? I will, Mira said with a big smile. I want to see how well you move in the forest. After breakfast, Mira led Daeho into the woods beyond the village. She moved like a dancer between the trees. Her feet made no sound on the fallen leaves. Daeho tried to copy her, but he was much louder. Your people do not hunt in forests, Mira said. It was not a question. Not much, Daeho admitted. Most of our food comes from farms or the ocean. That is sad. The forest teaches you many things. She stopped at the base of a huge tree. Climb to the top, Daeho looked up. The tree was very tall with smooth bark. How? Find a way, Mira said. She sat on a fallen log to watch. Daeho walked around the tree. The trunk was too wide to wrap his arms around, but there were vines growing up one side. He tested them carefully. They seemed strong enough. It took him 20 minutes to reach the top. His hands were cut from the rough vines. His clothes were torn, but he made it. Not bad, Mira called from below. Now come down without falling. Coming down was harder than going up. Daeho had to move very slowly. By the time he reached the ground, the sun was much higher in the sky. Your technique is terrible, Mira said, but you did not give up. That matters more. Is that the test? Climbing trees? Part of it. Mira started walking deeper into the forest. Now we hunt. Hunt what? Food for tonight's dinner. There are rabbit-like creatures in these woods. We need to catch 3 of them. With what? I don't have any weapons. Mira showed him how to make simple traps from sticks and vines. Patience is more important than weapons, she said. Watch where they go. Learn their habits. They spent the whole day in the forest. Mira taught Daeho to read animal tracks in the dirt. She showed him which plants were safe to eat and which ones would make him sick. She explained how to find water by following certain birds. Your people must know these things, she said while they waited by a trap. Some do, Daeho said, but most of us live in big cities. We buy food from stores. What if the stores are gone? Then we would be in trouble, Daeho admitted. That is why we learn to live with the land, Mira said. It never abandons you if you treat it well. By evening, they had caught 2 of the rabbit creatures. Not as many as Mira wanted, but enough. You pass, she said as they walked back to the village. You learn quickly and you do not complain. Thank you, Daeho said. He was tired but proud. The next day, So-young tested him. Her trial was different. She took him to a building filled with sick and injured women. Healing is not just about medicine, she explained. It is about understanding pain and how to ease it. So-young showed him plants that could stop bleeding, others that reduced fever. She taught him to feel for broken bones under the skin. Most importantly, she showed him how to listen. This woman, So-young pointed to an old lady lying on a bed. What is wrong with her? Daeho looked carefully. The woman's skin was pale. Her breathing was shallow. She's weak. Maybe from not eating enough? Good guess, but wrong. Listen closer. Daeho sat beside the bed. The old woman's breath had a strange smell. Sweet but unpleasant. Something is wrong inside her body. Her breath smells like rotting fruit. Very good, So-young said. It is a sickness of the blood. Her body cannot process sweet foods anymore. Diabetes, Daeho said in his own language. You know the sickness? Yes, on Earth we have medicines that help. And special diets, So-young's eyes lit up. Show me. Daeho spent the rest of the day sharing everything he knew about treating diabetes. So-young was amazed by human medical knowledge. You pass easily, she told him. You already know more about healing than some of our trained women. Different knowledge, Daeho said. But you know things I don't too. Together we know more than either of us alone, So-young agreed. The third trial came from Bora. She led him to a room filled with broken machines. Ancient technology that had not worked for generations. Our ancestors built amazing things, she said, but we have forgotten how they work. Can you help us remember? Deho examined the machines. They were unlike anything from Earth, but he could see familiar patterns. Electronics, power systems. Control circuits, this one. He pointed to a device covered in dust. It looks like some kind of computer. Computer? A thinking machine. It stores information and solves problems. Bora watched as Deho carefully cleaned the device. He found what looked like a power switch and pressed it. Nothing happened. The power source is dead, he said. Do you have anything that makes electricity? Electric City? Deho spent an hour explaining electricity and how machines used it. Bora was fascinated. We have crystals that glow with inner light, she said. Perhaps they could power these machines, when maybe. Can you show me? Bora brought him several glowing crystals. Deho tested them carefully with tools he had made from his crashed pod. The crystals did produce electrical current. This might work, he said excitedly. It took 3 days, but Deho managed to connect the crystals to the ancient computer. When he turned it on, symbols appeared on a dark screen. It works, Bora shouted with joy. The computer contained information about the old civilization, history, science, and technology. Most importantly, it had star maps showing other worlds. Your ancestors were space travelers, Deho told Bora. They came from somewhere else, just like me. Impossible, Bora said, but the evidence was right there on the screen. You pass, she said quietly. You have given us back our past. The final trial was with Hyrin. She took him to a training ground where warriors practiced fighting. I will not ask you to fight me, she said. That would not be fair. But I want to see how you think in battle. She set up a war game. Wooden pieces on a board representing armies. You command the blue pieces. I command the red. The goal is to capture the enemy leader. Deho had played similar games on Earth, chess and Go and others, but this game had different rules. It was more complex. Your pieces are smaller, Hayren explained, but they can move in ways mine cannot. You must use speed and cleverness instead of strength. The game lasted 2 hours. Deho lost, but he made Hayren work hard for her victory. You think differently than us, she said afterward. Not better or worse, just different. That could be useful in real war. I hope we never have to find out, Deho said. So do I, Hayren agreed. But it is good to be ready. That evening, the whole village gathered for a feast. Deho had passed all 4 trials. He was now officially a member of the tribe. You have proven yourself worthy, Yunji announced. You have shown skill, wisdom, compassion, and courage. These are the qualities we value most. The women cheered and clapped. Deho felt warm inside. It had been a long time since he felt like he belonged somewhere. But the trials are not over, Yunji continued. There is one more test. The most important one. What is it? Deho asked. You must choose, Yunji said. We have been talking while you were being tested. Some of us want to try having children with you. Others think we should focus on contacting your people first. We need you to decide which path we take. Deho looked around at all the faces watching him. These women had become his friends. His family. They were trusting him with the future of their entire species. Can I have time to think about it? He asked. Of course, Yunji said. Take all the time you need. But remember, time is something we do not have much of. Every year, more of us grow too old to have children. Every year, we get closer to extinction. Deho nodded. It was the hardest decision he had ever faced. Both choices could save them. Both choices could also destroy them, and whatever he decided would change his life forever. Deho could not sleep. For 3 nights he had been thinking about the choice. Both options felt wrong and right at the same time. He walked through the quiet village streets, looking at the houses where his new family slept. He found himself at the old computer he had fixed. The star maps were still glowing on the screen. So many worlds out there, so many possibilities. You are troubled, a voice said behind him. Deho turned around. It was Yu Jin, an older woman he had not spoken to much. She wore the robes of a spiritual leader and had kind eyes. Yes, he said. This choice is too big for one person to make. All important choices feel that way. Yu Jin sat down beside him. But you are not really choosing alone. We are all part of this decision. How? Come with me, Yu Jin said. I want to show you something. She led him to a building he had never entered before. Inside, the walls were covered with carvings. Pictures told the story of the Velthari people from ancient times. "This is our history," Eugen explained. "See here? Long ago, we were not one tribe. We were many different groups scattered across the stars. The carvings showed spaceships in different worlds, people with blue skin like the current tribe, but also others with green skin and purple skin." "What happened to them?" Deho asked. "Some died out. Others changed so much they became different species. Only we remained the same." Eugen moved to another wall. These carvings were darker. They showed war and destruction. "This is when the poison came," she said. "Our enemies created a weapon that would only kill our males. They thought this would end our warrior culture." "It almost worked," Deho said quietly. "Yes, but see this?" Eugen pointed to the last carving. It showed a figure standing between two groups of people. "Our prophet said that one day a stranger would come, someone who could bridge two worlds and bring new life." Deho stared at the carving. The figure looked remarkably like him. "You think I'm this person from your prophecy?" "I think prophecies mean what we make them mean," Eugen said wisely. "But yes, I believe you are here for a reason. What if I make the wrong choice?" "There is no wrong choice," Eugen said. "There are only different paths, some easier, some harder, all leading to places we cannot see yet." The next morning, Deho found Bora working on the ancient computer. She had learned to use it quickly and was discovering new information every day. "Look at this," she said excitedly. "I found records about other surviving colonies. Groups of our people who escaped the war. Where are they? Far away, very far. But some might still be alive." Bora's fingers moved over the controls. "If we could contact them, we could bring them here," Deho finished. "Increase your population without depending on my people." "Exactly. It would take years to reach them. Maybe decades, but it is another option." Deho studied the star charts. "We would need a working spaceship, and people who know how to pilot it. Our ancestors knew these things. The knowledge is in this computer. We could learn." It was an interesting idea, but also risky. Space travel was dangerous even with modern Earth technology. Using ancient alien technology would be even more challenging. That afternoon, Heron found him practicing with wooden swords in the training yard. "You are getting better," she said, watching him move through the basic forms. "I had a good teacher." "You are distracted, though. Your mind is elsewhere." Deho put down the practice sword. "I keep thinking about all the things that could go wrong. If I choose to stay and try having children, what if it doesn't work? What if our species are too different? Then we try something else," Heron said simply. "And if I choose to contact Earth? What if they send the wrong people? What if they decide your world has resources they want? Then we fight them," Heron said with a fierce smile. "We are warriors. We do not surrender easily." "You make it sound so simple because it is simple. We try, we adapt. We survive or we don't. But we do not give up without fighting." Heron picked up a practice sword and faced him. "Fight me. You'll win easily. Probably. But that is not the point. Fight anyway." They sparred for an hour. Heron was much better, but Deho was learning. More importantly, the physical activity helped clear his mind. "Better," she said when they finished. "You are starting to think like a warrior. Is that good? For the situation? Yes, sometimes you have to take risks. Sometimes you have to fight for what you believe in, even when you might lose." That evening, Deho had dinner with Mira and So Young. They talked about their hopes for the future. "I want to see the stars," Mira said. "Travel to other worlds like our ancestors did." "I want to heal people," So Young said. "Use the knowledge you have shared to help more than just our small tribe." "What about having children?" Deho asked carefully. Both women were quiet for a moment. "Of course we want children," So Young said finally. "Every woman here does. But not just to save our species. We want families, people to love and care for. And we want those children to have a good future," Mira added. "A world with opportunities and adventures. Do you think they could have that here? On this world?" "Maybe," Mira said, "if we work together to build it. Or maybe they need to go elsewhere," So Young said. "Find new worlds where life is easier." After dinner, Deho walked to the edge of the village. He could see his crashed pod in the distance. With the right materials and enough time, he might be able to fix it. Send a message to Earth, bring help. But what kind of help? Earth had many different kinds of people. Some would genuinely want to help the Velthari. Others might see them as primitive aliens to be controlled or exploited. Still others might see their world as a place to colonize. "You are thinking too hard," a voice said. Deho turned to see Unji approaching. The old leader moved slowly but with dignity. "How do you know what I'm thinking?" "Because I have been thinking the same things for 50 years, she said. "Every day I wonder if we're making the right choices. Every day I worry about our future. How do you stand it?" "By remembering that I am not alone. We make decisions together. We face consequences together. No one person carries all the weight." Yunji sat on a stone bench and patted the space beside her. "Tell me what your heart says. Not your mind, your heart." Deho sat down and thought carefully. "My heart says I want to help you. All of you. I want Mira to see the stars. I want So Young to heal people. I want Heirin to have worthy battles to fight. I want Bora to unlock all the secrets in that computer. And what about children? I want that too. But not because I have to, because I care about you all. You've become my family." "Good," Yunji said with satisfaction. "That is the right reason. But I still don't know which choice is better." "Then perhaps the answer is not to choose one or the other," Yunji said thoughtfully. "Perhaps the answer is to do both." "Both?" "Stay here. Try to have children with some of our women, but also work on contacting your people and exploring Bora's idea about finding other Velthari colonies. Why must it be only one path?" Deho blinked. It was so obvious now that she said it. "Because I was thinking like the choice was permanent. Like whatever I decided now could never be changed." "Exactly. But life is not like that. We can try one thing first, then try another. We can do several things at the same time. It would be complicated, of course it would. But our situation is complicated. Simple solutions rarely work for complicated problems." Deho felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. "So what do we do first?" "First, we see if you and our women can actually have children together. So Young has been studying your biology. She thinks it might be possible, but we need to test it. And while we're doing that, Bora continues working on the ancient technology. You help her understand it better. Maybe we find a way to contact the other colonies. And contacting Earth, that comes later. When we know more about our options. When we are stronger and better prepared." It made sense. Start with what they could control. Build from there. "There is one more thing," Yunji said. "If this works, if you stay and become part of our community permanently, some things will change." "What things?" "You will need to understand our marriage customs. Our way of choosing partners and forming families. It is different from your people's way." Deho felt his face getting red again. "How different?" "We will discuss that later," Yunji said with a small smile. "First, let us see if children are even possible. One step at a time." As they walked back to the village, Deho felt better than he had in days. The choice was no longer crushing him. Instead of one big decision, it was many small ones. Each step would teach them something new and help them decide what to do next. It was not a perfect plan. There were still many ways it could go wrong. But it felt right. It felt like hope. 6 months had passed since Deho made his decision. The village had changed in ways no one expected. So had he. The morning started like many others. Deho woke up in his small house near the center of the village. But today felt different. Today, So Young would tell them the results of her latest tests. He walked to the medical building where a small crowd had gathered. The whole village knew what this day meant. If So Young's tests were positive, it would change everything. "Are you ready?" Heirin asked when she saw him. "I don't know," Deho said honestly. "Are you?" "I stopped being ready for things months ago," she laughed. "Now I just deal with whatever happens." So Young came out of the building holding a stone tablet covered with notes. Her face showed nothing. Everyone waited in silence. "The tests are complete," she announced. "After 6 months of study and 3 months of attempts, I can confirm that humans and Velthari can produce children together." The crowd erupted in cheers and crying. Women hugged each other and danced in the street. Some fell to their knees in relief. "How many?" Hyunji asked when the noise died down. 4 confirmed pregnancies so far," So Young said with a huge smile. "Jinnie, Sujin, Heewon, and Na Young are all expecting healthy babies." More cheering. Deho felt dizzy. He was going to be a father. 4 times over. "When will they be born?" someone called out. "In about 5 months," So Young replied. "The pregnancy time is similar to humans, but slightly shorter." "What about the other volunteers?" Mira asked. "Still trying," So Young said. Not everyone becomes pregnant immediately. That is normal. Deho looked around at all the happy faces. These past months had been strange and wonderful. After Yunji explained the Velthari marriage customs, 12 women had volunteered to try having children with him. It was not like human marriage at all. More like a community project where everyone helped raise all the children together. There is more news, Bora said, pushing through the crowd. She looked excited about something else. What now? Hyunji asked. I have been working with the ancient computers. I found something amazing. Bora held up a crystal that glowed with soft blue light. This contains a complete star map of our ancestors' colonies, including current locations. Current? Teho asked. The computers have been receiving signals from other Velthari groups. Automatic messages sent every few years. There are still colonies out there. At least 7 of them. How far away? Heron wanted to know. Some are very far. Would take decades to reach with the old ships. But 2 are closer. Maybe 5 years of travel? 5 years, Yunji said thoughtfully. That is possible. There is something else, Bora continued. I have been studying Deho's escape pod. I think I can fix it. Fix it how? Teho asked. Combine our crystal power sources with your electronics. Make it work well enough to send messages to your Earth. Really? I think so. It will take time. And help from others. But yes, I believe we can contact your people. Deho felt overwhelmed. Everything was happening at once. Babies coming. Other colonies found. Contact with Earth possible. 6 months ago, the Velthari were facing extinction. Now they had multiple paths to survival. We should celebrate, Mira said. All of this deserves a proper feast. Agreed, Yunji said. Tonight we eat and drink and dance. Tomorrow we start planning for the future. The celebration lasted until dawn. The whole village came together to share food and stories. Deho found himself talking with Jin A, one of the women who was pregnant with his child. Are you scared? She asked. Terrified, he admitted. I never thought I would be a father. Especially not like this. What do you mean? On Earth, usually one man and one woman have children together. They raise them in a small family. This is very different, Jin-A nodded. Our way is different. But I think it might be better. More people to help. More people to love the children. What if I am not a good father? Then we will teach you, Jin-A said with a warm smile. No one knows how to be a parent from the beginning. We all learn together. Later that night, Deho found himself talking with Heirin on the roof of the meeting hall. They could see the whole village spread out below them. Strange to think how much has changed, she said. Do you regret any of it? Deho asked. No. I worried at first that bringing you here would change us too much, make us less than what we were, and now I think it made us more than what we were. We are still warriors, still Velthari, but we are also something new. What do you think will happen when the children are born? I think they will be amazing, Heirin said. Part human, part Velthari. They will have the best of both worlds. And if we contact other colonies, or Earth, then they will have even more worlds to choose from, Heirin said. That is not a bad problem to have. The next morning, the real work began. Bora organized teams to work on different projects. Some people focused on repairing the escape pod and building a communication system. Others studied the star maps and planned expeditions to the closest colonies. Still others worked on improving the village to accommodate the coming babies. Deho found himself in the middle of everything. His human knowledge helped with the technology projects. His growing understanding of Velthari culture helped with the social planning. Most importantly, his presence gave everyone hope that impossible things could become possible. We need to think about what message to send to Earth, Bora said during one of their planning meetings. What kind of message? Deho asked. One that attracts the right kind of people. Scientists and explorers like you, not soldiers or traders. That will be tricky. Earth governments might insist on sending their own people. Then we make sure the message reaches the right people first, Heirin suggested. Give them time to organize before the governments know about it. It was a smart plan. They spent weeks crafting the perfect message. It explained the situation without revealing too much about Velthari resources or weaknesses. It asked for volunteers to help with a scientific and humanitarian mission. Most importantly, it made clear that any visitors would be guests, not conquerors. 3 months later, the message was ready to send. The escape pod had been rebuilt with Velthari crystal technology. It could now transmit across the vast distances between stars. Are we sure about this? Yunji asked before they activated the transmitter. No, Daeho said. But we never are sure about anything important. We just have to trust that we are making the best decision we can with the information we have. And if the wrong people come?
Then we deal with it, Hayron said firmly.
We are not helpless anymore. We have options now. Other colonies to contact. Our own children to protect. And we have learned much about working with different people. Yunji nodded slowly. Send the message. Bora pressed the activation sequence. High above the village, the modified escape pod sent a brief signal toward the stars. Toward Earth. How long until we get a response? Mira asked. Years, Daeho said. Even at the speed of light, the message will take a long time to reach Earth. And then they have to send people here. Good, So Young said. That gives us time to prepare. 2 months later, the first babies were born. Daeho held his daughter in his arms and cried. She had blue skin like her mother, but black hair like him. Her eyes were a beautiful mixture of brown and gold. She is perfect, Jinne whispered. They all are, Daeho said, looking at the other 3 babies born that week. The children were healthy and strong. So Young's tests showed they had the best traits from both species. They grew faster than human babies, but were more adaptable than pure Velthari. They are the future, Yunji said, watching the babies sleep. Not just of our people, but of something entirely new. More children followed over the next year. The village filled with the sounds of young voices. Daeho learned to be a father to children who called him Papa, but belonged to the whole community. He also helped plan the first expedition to contact the nearest Velthari colony. A small group of volunteers would take one of the ancient ships Bora had managed to repair. The journey would take 5 years, but it would establish contact with their lost cousins. I want to go, Mira announced during one planning meeting. It is dangerous, Hayrin warned. The ships are old. Space travel is always risky. Everything we have done has been risky, Mira replied. But look what we have accomplished. In the end, 6 volunteers left for the distant colony. They carried messages and gifts from the village. More importantly, they carried hope that the scattered Velthari people could be reunited. 5 years after Daeho's arrival, the village had tripled in size. 37 children ran through the streets playing games that mixed human and Velthari traditions. The ancient computers had revealed dozens of useful technologies. The communication array listened constantly for signals from Earth or the expedition to the other colony. Do you ever miss Earth? Hayrin asked him one evening as they watched their children play. Sometimes, Daeho admitted. I miss certain foods. I miss my old laboratory. I miss the ocean. Do you regret staying? Daeho looked around at the thriving village, at the children who were his but also everyone's, at the women who had become his family in ways he never imagined possible. No, he said with certainty. This is home now. This is where I belong. Good, Hayrin smiled. Because tomorrow Bora thinks she might have detected a signal from Earth. If we are lucky, your people,